7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Dear representatives of our national agency, dear head teachers and teachers, dear students, host families, dear friends of our school, and last but not least, dear everyone watching us via our live stream, and theoretically all over the world, but at least in our partner schools, home countries, in India. And a special hi to Tom van Berkel, who's watching us, I know, in the Netherlands. So, hi Tom. In the name of our headmaster, Jean-Claude Hammer, our deputy headmaster, Jean-Paul Weinand, and the whole organizing team of the Europe on the Move event, I have the honor of welcoming you all to the closing ceremony of the Europe on the Move Students' Conference. 2 years ago, our deputy head, Jean-Paul Weinand, came back from the Tansi conference in the US in Finland with the good news, with the message that our school was invited to apply to host the big Euro conference in 2014. And here we are. We have embraced the challenge, and we are proud to have our friends from the Euro project and Chennai here with us. We would like to thank you from the bottom of our heart for your motivation, your creativity, your open-mindedness, and your good humor, which I'm sure have made our event not only for the organizing team and your workshop teachers, but also for your host families, an unforgettable event. Thank you very much. 47 teachers from 18 countries have been our guests for 4 days. They've been ambassadors of their country, and one of them is Kamala Devi from Chennai, from our partner school in India. She's going to show us the Bharatanatyam, an Indian classical dance. She has been practicing for 9 years now, and she has been awarded the title of Balshri for Arts from the President of India, which is the highest award for children under 16 in India. She's accompanied by Ishwar Nagaraj, playing the mridangam, a traditional Indian percussion instrument. Please welcome them on stage.
Hello everyone. This is the Indian Carnatic drum, which is called the Mridangam. And the Mridangam is a side instrument for all Carnatic music festivals. As you just saw Kamala, that's the dance form of Carnatic. And this is the music form of Carnatic. Although this drum is usually accompanied with a full-on concert, due to the lack of musicians, I'm just going to play the drum tonight, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. this is the Carnatic part of the Mridangam. We also have a common style, the folk part of Mridangam, which is the music of the common man. And for this, I will need you to start clapping, not in a rhythm, right? You get what I'm saying? Just follow me. So if you have any questions about this, I'm ready to answer. Any questions? Any questions at all?
That's it.
Yeah? No? So you understand everything about the Mridangam. So I'll especially like to thank Mr. Ambi for the Mridangam, because without him, I couldn't have played this to you, and you couldn't have experienced the Carnatic instrument. So thank you, Mr. Ambi. Thank you for the Mridangam. Huh? Oh, this Mridangam, this drum is 35 years old. That's more than twice my age. So that's amazing. Thank you, Mr. Ambi. Thank you for the Mridangam. And thank you all for listening. Thank you very much.
So this has been awesome. Thank you very, very much. This has been another proof that there is beauty in our world. And we live in a wonderful world. Thank you very much. During our discussion on migration, we have tried to cover in the workshops the different facets and aspects that are connected to migration. Migration can mean opportunities, chances, but also having a difficult time to adjust, being sad, being homesick, trying to find friends. So we also try to cover those aspects. It just depends on the circumstances why you migrate. I hope that you, dear students, have gained a wider view on this topic, and that you still have got open eyes for the beauties in our world. So thank you very much to our school choir, students from year 7 and 8, led by Maris Pündel and Klaus Demmer. Thank you very much. Now, Bollywood is coming to Luxembourg tonight, and we are looking forward to it. Please see for yourself.
मेरा झुमका उठा के लाया यार वे, जो गिरा था बरेली के बाजार में। मैं तो ठुमका लगा के शर्मा गई, बोली घूम कर बजा दे के मैं आ गई। मुझको लौटा के नाच
So these pictures have given you already an impression of what has been going on in the workshops. These conferences, I think, are really nice for teachers, but the core of them is really making it great for students. And I would like to pass on the microphone now to a student from the Netherlands, to Annick Bierhoff, from the workshop Literature, to give the students, our guest students, a voice. Please, Annick, come on stage.
I want to tell you some things we learned in our workshops that we will never want to forget anymore. And I think we have learned a lot. So, here we go. Each country can become our own country if we don't have to give up our identities. Living together simply means being respectful. Every country has its own problems with immigration, and every country has to find its own solutions. We should appreciate the things we have in common and accept our differences. And lastly, we are all the same, except that we are all different. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing this with us. You, dear guest students, left our own families for the adventure of staying with complete strangers. Just for the organization, your workshop is going to be presented a little later. Okay? Continue. This is a live show, you see? This is not... This is live. Real life. So I start once more. So, dear guest students, you left your families to stay with complete strangers. Even if your guests and hosts, being members of Facebook, had the possibility of getting in touch before, doors and hopefully hearts were open for you. I have the pleasure of asking one of the host parents, one host father, Mr. Brinkmann, on stage, to have a few words to say on behalf of the host parents. Thank you very much, Mr. Brinkmann.
Good evening, everybody. I have not prepared such a wonderful performance on the teams that we have seen before here, so I do not want to disturb you too long. I just want to, maybe a few words about me and my family. We have 3 children, all boys, 10, 14 and 16 years old. And we are very pleased, we were very pleased to participate in this EOM event. So we have chosen, or we have decided to participate here because we are very much interested in meeting other people from other countries. We are traveling a lot, but we thought that it might be very interesting for us to have also a personal contact with a student from a different country here in Europe for a couple of days. So we were with Martin from Slovakia. He was selected to join us, and I must say we were not that much, let's say, informed about what is about Slovakia before, and I must say within the last 3 nights I learned a lot of Slovakia. I learned in particular that I should never try to learn Slovakian language. It seems to be the most complicated language in Europe. So my son told me, don't try it in the public, otherwise I will leave the room. So the experience was very nice. Martin was very polite, and I think in particular what was important for me to say is that my parents were very open, even if I would say English is not the common language in my family at home. But the parents and the whole family was very much welcoming Martin, and we were exchanging from the first evening already ideas, and we were discussing under, let's say, a little bit more difficult conditions concerning the language. But I think that these kind of events are really allowing us to share Europe, to bring Europe closer together, even when we have some special guests from India, which we are of course also very much welcoming. I think it was a great experience, and also for our guest, I think he was appreciating the stay in the private family, not in a hotel or in a youth house. So today we had the opportunity to visit Luxembourg, and I think that beside Martin, who was never in Luxembourg downtown before, even my children had seen a few things about Luxembourg they have never noticed before. So this was most probably a good opportunity for them also to be here. So I can just reinforce, or let's say confirm, that all my expectations became true. So the children, they were really picking up the opportunity to meet other people from other countries. We have unfortunately only met one, but I think for all the others, there were the great stages here now where you could meet other people. So thanks a lot, and I believe that not only for us as one parent, but also for the other parents, it must have been a great experience to be part of that program here. So thanks to the organization team, and I hope that we will enjoy the rest of the evening. Goodbye.
So you've seen how much students are keen on presenting what they've worked on for the past 3 days. And now it's time for them to present it. In almost all workshop groups, there was at least one participant from each country, so you can imagine the variety of different cultures, different backgrounds, ideas, experiences, languages, looking for and finding a common ground. Our team, in preparing the workshop, tried to cover the topic migration from different creative points of view. The workshops dealt with literature, body painting, social sciences like politics, geography, and also multimedia, video, and drama. And the workshop teachers did their best to make this conference unforgettable, fruitful, and of value for their students. See for yourselves. So I thought I was now finding students on the stage. Could you please come on stage? Has anybody seen?
I was participating in the workshop body painting because I don't always look like this. And we did the workshop body painting because we thought we would try to show you how some people may feel if they immigrate from another country and they come, for example, here and they don't speak the language. Maybe they feel like excluded because they don't understand anything and they might feel invisible. So we wanted to do camouflage body painting. So we wanted to integrate a person in a background, but I could tell you what it was all about, but really I'm kind of tired because I was standing there all the time, and believe me or not, it is more difficult than it seems like. So maybe a friend of mine could tell you what we did. So could you please come, Noel?
Yeah. Oh, it's loud. So first we formed small groups of 4 or 5 students, and each group did their own work. And there were 2 different parts in our works. On Thursday we painted the backgrounds, and then on Friday we did the actual body painting part. And we had to choose who was going to be the painted one, and the others painted him in front of the background so he would become invisible. So now we're going to show you the pictures of our work.
Workshop, including Ms. Seiberat, our teacher.
Thank you very much, Françoise Seiberat and her students. May I now call the Young Poets Society on stage.
Well, as Sandra told you already, we are the Young Poets Society. We are a very living poets society. Over the last 2 days, we have read a lot of poems together, poems about migration, being homeless, being without roots, and we have had many interesting discussions by trying to find out the main message of the poems. On the second day, they were inspired enough to write their own poem without Michel and without my help. Their poem is not only a poem about migration, but also a poem about mankind as a whole.
It was dark, the skies defined by shades of grey.
Man stood up and took the world in his hands.
It was too much, it had to split the world between two ends.
When it was grabbed by one, cruelty was born and humanity was gone.
Friends became enemies, flowers became guns.
But you never walk alone, if you make wherever you are your home.
On this day, like any other day, dirty clothes are washed by children's bare hands.
Well-educated minds are washed by merciless media, and nothing gets clean.
On this day, like any other day, people lined up their weapons and filled them with rage.
Residents become refugees, souls become scarred, and nobody wins.
On this day, like any other day, we all wish to make a difference.
But no one dares to take the first step, and nothing happens.
We want to live in a world where you're not ashamed of your nationality.
Where every country adds its color to the rainbow and open arms welcome every migrant.
Where children imagine fairy tales and don't experience nightmares.
We want to live in a world where respect is like the sunshine in the morning.
Where tolerance is experienced by all. Where peace is like a spring flower.
Where education opens the door to new beginnings.
We've always fought in disrespect against each other's cultures, but better days you can expect, for we shape our common future.
Thank you very much, dear students from the Young Poets Society. Thank you, Vicky Ternes, and thank you, Michel. Now, our third workshop was also a really busy one, academic one, as well as the one with the most pre-tasks. And I would like now to call the workshop Social Science on stage, accompanied by my colleagues Sandra Galli and Françoise Volta.
Hello? Oh. Okay, good. Before we came to Luxembourg, we received a couple of pre-tasks. These involved to gather information about their countries and their migrant history, as well as make as well as make diagrams and create statistics percentage over the percentage of immigrants in our countries. So yesterday at our workshop we created this map. We sat down in smaller groups of 3 and 4 students, and together we discussed had discussions based on the pre-task material. We had all made presentations of each other's own country, but when we sat down in smaller groups, our task was to create this map based on the presentations from another country. This was a way to make us interact with each other and talk more and realize a lot more about each other's countries.
Yeah, okay, so now I think I can introduce our super awesome map we made yesterday. And basically we have here all the countries of which we had material. Yeah. And then in all the countries the blue area represents the number of nationals on that country, and immigrants are the yellow part. This map is not perfectly realistic because, for example, in Finland, I don't think that all the immigrants live in the Lapland. Or, for example, in Spain, or I don't think they are at the beach all the time. So, maybe, but I'm not sure. Yeah. And we use different methods to measure the right area. And for example, some of us use some kind of cool scientific calculations to know exactly the right number of the pins that must be used. Oh yeah, this is made of pins that are colored. Yeah. And then, what is interesting, like for example in Luxembourg, here where we are now, which is here, Luxembourg is only 2 pins here, 1 yellow and 1 blue, which practically means that almost half of the population are immigrants. But in the most of the European countries, the number is between 5 and 15. And I'll see if I had to say something else. Well, nothing else. The only, not the only interesting thing, but the most interesting thing about this map was that almost all the immigrants in Europe are actually Europeans. And that's cool, I think. So it's difficult to say how much migration or how many immigrants there are in Europe, because in Europe most of the immigrants are European, actually. So yeah, and this is our map. Thanks.
Thank you very much. You've seen that the majority of workshop teachers comes from the Lycée Michel Rodange, but we've also had the opportunity to get some support and help from outside our school, and one of them is Philipp Ternes, and he's covered the video clip part of the workshop Social Science. So they're the familiar faces of the students of the Social Science workshop, and Philipp Ternes. Please come on stage.
Hello everybody. Wow. Maybe this is better. Can you still hear me? Very sorry. Maybe this way. I think this is the best way to hold the microphone. I'm sorry. Are you standing in this circle? This is almost a circle. Make it a bit rounder while I explain what we have been doing. So, in the first part, you will see a few video extracts that we got from several countries around Europe. We cannot show all of them, but you will find all of them later on our webpage. So you see a few extracts with a few insights on the challenges that many countries in Europe are facing with regards to migration. Later on, we invite you to join in, because we first will perform the rap with Entro from Italy, and then we compose the chorus for you, and just feel free to join in. Thank you.
I ended up in a refugee camp far from my village. I went to escape the situation. What about you?
I've had the difficulties integration to society, so the southeastern countries stay in the company of people from the same or similar cultures, and they also don't seem too interested in learning the language. Another difficulty they face is job finding. The immigrants sometimes resort to working minimum wages or jobs illegally, and consequently they have no stability, no health insurance, no certainty that they can stay in this country.
Και επίσης η μετανάστευση στην Ελλάδα μέσω της θαλάσσης πρέπει να αντιμετωπιστεί με συνολική δράση την Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση, γιατί οι ανατολικές χώρες, οι νότιες χώρες αντιμετωπίζουν πρόβλημα και οι βόρειες χώρες πρέπει να βοηθήσουν για να αντιμετωπίσουν το πρόβλημα είτε οικονομικά, είτε με την παροχή ναυτιλιακής βοήθειας, καραβιών, βάρκες, αυτά.
On a décidé de rentrer chez nous parce que c'est le but de tout immigrant, c'est de retourner dans son pays.
Eu tenho família em toda a parte do mundo e a minha experiência com a imigração foi muito boa. Deixei portas abertas em vários sítios, como França, Alemanha e Suíça. E eu gostei bastante de lá estar na Suíça. É um país lindo, as pessoas são muito simpáticas. E basicamente é isto.
The country should motivate the immigrants to learn the language. We also think that the country should put more money on education for the immigrants, because that will be a benefit for the country in the future.
Prejudice leads to the generalization of people's features, which often turn into stereotypes without considering really important figures, as for example Mother Teresa of Calcutta, who was Albanian.
Country of origin is relevant to shape stereotypes about a certain migrant community. We are more willing to tolerate and accept cultures, habits and religions closer to ours, rather than those which seem historically right.
With any of your friends in whatever place you come home.
The best way to take stereotypes is to know about them.
There were 13 people in the room today representing 9 different nationalities. It was particularly interesting that all of the stereotypes that we saw in many of the different videos submitted to the video contest were not represented in this room. For example, we did not see the black kid as being a rapper, a hip-hop artist. We didn't see the girl representing Romania as a gypsy. The guy from Austria was not singing on the hills to the sounds of music and a pair of lederhosen, and the American was not eating a cheeseburger with french fries from McDonald's. So that just goes to show that perhaps these kinds of cultural mixings and these initiatives to really talk to the youth make all the difference in killing those stereotypes that exist.
I think it's a big difference if it's your free choice to immigrate or if you are forced to immigrate. For example, by your parents or by the economic situation and so on.
Hey ciao, sono marocchino, algerino, albanese, sogno la felicità, cambio paese e non è facile arrivare
arrivare a fine mese, affitto, famiglia e tutte le altre spese. Mi spacco la schiena in un campo per 12 ore e poi la gente mi reputa uno stupratore. Vi lamentate di noi, poveri immigrati, siamo tutti uguali, siamo pregiudicati. Bisogna andare oltre come fa Platone, distinguiamo le persone cattive da quelle buone. E ve lo faccio capire attraverso rime estese, come dice il detto, ogni mondo è paese.
Thank you all. I think next time we study this rap again and also the song, it still needs some practice. But it has potential, trust me.
Now we would like to present to you the work of our fourth workshop, Drama, led by Larissa Faber and Damia Till. They came particularly for this conference from London. They're originally Luxembourgish, but they live and work in London as artists, as actors and musicians. So thank you very much. Please come on stage, the Drama workshop.
Try again. Good evening, everybody. My name is Damien. I was responsible for a facilitator for the drama workshop. The other facilitator, which is Larissa Faber, unfortunately cannot make it tonight. She has another prior commitment. She's performing tonight somewhere else. Our main aim for the workshop tonight was to get our group of different people to work together as a professional theatre company and to come out of themselves to create something, a performance as a group, but to also show their personality. And I think we have never been blessed with a better group than this one, but you can see for yourself.
When you feel safe. Home. It isn't just where you lie your head or where you make your bed. When you never feel alone. Home is where you can be yourself. When you laugh or when you're hurting. Home is where you and I becomes we, and together we can do anything. This is home. Home is not the walls, home is the people.
Home is wherever you want it to be, wherever you feel connected and comfortable.
É onde eu me sinto segura.
Until a week ago, Europe was just a place that I always wanted to visit and experience.
É onde eu me sinto bem.
But now, Europe is my home, because I feel connected here.
É aqui.
Home is where the heart is.
Minha casa é o meu planeta.
My experience here in Luxembourg has made me feel like a European citizen.
Home is a place where we have lived moments which make our past, our present, and our future.
I've been treated like at home.
Europe is bigger.
Everybody helped and respected each other, even if they weren't relatives.
Europe is a union of lands, languages, and cultures.
This acceptance and respect of all the differences is what has made me feel part of this community, Europe.
But here, we learn that if we are so far, we are together.
L'Europe et l'Union européenne sont le regroupement de plusieurs pays d'un même continent et de différentes cultures, langues et religions.
Domov je pre mňa spoločnosť.
Mais ce groupe est très solidaire.
Spoločnosť s trojrozmernými ľuďmi.
Et lorsque des rencontres comme celle-ci se font, nous pouvons observer une très grande entente entre tous les citoyens qui s'y présentent.
Ja som milovaný a aj milujem.
Grâce à cette Europe, nous pouvons nous sentir partout chez nous.
A preto s hrdosťou a radosťou vám môžem povedať, že ja na tomto svete mám viac než jeden domov.
Ik voel het thuis in Nederland.
To feel good, comfortable and accepted.
En thuis is waar je de mensen kent.
Breathing free, not being frightened, being myself.
Het is waar je simpelweg naar je buurvrouw kan zwaaien.
Home, being a person, a place of love, joy and memory.
Sorry. Het is waar je onderdak hebt en waar je vrienden zijn.
Sticking together, even if not agreeing. Home. Europe, my home country.
En dan ben je gewoon veilig thuis.
Home is where one is comfortable and can do whatever he or she wants.
At home, I feel safe.
Europe is a beautiful place full of different people and cultures.
Home is not a place, it's a feeling.
Home is where one's loved ones are at.
Languages, cultures, people. Many things same and many things different, but that's what makes us rich. Home is the place where I feel most comfortable.
Home is the place where we can feel safe.
It's not just a roof over your head, it's the people and the surroundings.
Home is where our family, our presence, our relatives stand.
It's where you never feel lonely whenever you're alone. That's when you know you are home.
We make our home and we make our Europe.
Home is where you feel like yourself, where you're happy, and where all your good memories and loved ones are.
Home is where my friends and family are.
Home is where you feel. Home is everywhere where you feel happy.
It's where I'm most happy and comfortable.
Without home, I would just feel like an empty spot in the world. I wouldn't feel like I belong somewhere.
Although Europe is full of different cultures and languages,
Without home, I'd just be nothing.
we're all still connected.
Home is where you're never left all alone.
Home is a feeling of intense empathy.
Home is where you're accepted as the one you truly are.
A feeling of being understood.
Home is a shoulder you can cry on without being ashamed.
Not just your words, but the intention behind them.
Home is always okay.
Europe is peace created by mutual understanding.
Home means to me a place where I'm accepted, where I feel safe, where I feel good. It makes me sad that not everyone all over the world can travel without borders to meet new cultures and learn from them. Sorry, I forgot my text. 1 minute. I don't feel like I'm a European citizen. I don't feel like I'm an Austrian citizen. I just feel like I'm a human being.
Dear students, I think our spectators have been so impressed that they kept fainting. So our closing ceremony is almost finished. A few days ago we began our opening ceremony with a quotation from Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince, from Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, saying, "Pour les uns qui voyagent, les étoiles sont les guides. For those who travel, the stars are the guides." You, the younger generation, you are our stars of Europe, our shining stars of Europe. No matter where you are from and where you go to, look for the stars and you'll find your way. In this spirit, we would like to remind you of your not national identity, not European identity, but your human identity, as you were saying in the drama workshop. And we would like to give you a new passport as a souvenir home from this European conference. So you've got your roots in your home countries, but you should have no borders. I hope, and I'm sure, you are taking this home to where you are going. Please keep this identity not only in your hands in a passport, without borders, but in your hearts. So I invite you to come on stage now to sing our common song, to get the passports, and I would also like to call from each country the correspondents on stage to get our souvenir gift for each school from our headmaster Jean-Claude Hammer It is a memory game, and it's a European memory game. So please, may I ask you to come on stage, all guest students and all correspondents, and may I ask my event option students to come with the passports as a gift. Okay? Kan ik denken? Merci. Okay. Mijn option event students. Charles und Tessie, Sie wissen, wo als Kadoen sind. Wir wissen es nämlich nicht. Sie sind verschwunden. Okay, als Kado. Okay, und nun können wir zusammen singen.
So, very impressive what young people can achieve in only 2 days. Thursday afternoon, when the workshop started, the different team members had never met before. This makes the performance we just saw even more outstanding. There was some improvisation, but how could that be another way? It's so important to have a concrete output resulting in a production, may it be written or artistic. Additionally, you must keep in mind that most of the workshops could only be arranged, the ceremony could only be arranged after the end of the workshops yesterday evening. I hope you appreciated the workshops and you take home many good souvenirs from Luxembourg. Now the official part of our conference is almost over, and the time has come to thank all those who contributed to make all this happen. First of all, our organizing team under the direction of Jean-Paul and Sandra. An applause, please. The teachers running the workshops, those who supervised our artist students, and all those who were simply there when we needed them. Thank you. The technical team. In a few minutes, they will completely rearrange this room to prepare it for the party. Next Tuesday, we will have here in the same room 230 students writing their exams. From the beginning, the guys from the technical team all considered our conference as their conference. Thank you. Especially Frank for the publishing work and Romain for all the work in relation to his photos and much more. The housekeeping team and especially Lourdes. Nearly 200 students involved in one way or another. Those of the event management group, those helping or participating in the workshops, those of the school television group, those of the scenography group, the class 4M5 for the 5M4 for the video work, and those of the music classes and other singers and musicians, dancers and actors. And don't forget the 70 students of the host families and their parents, of course. I appreciate very much your commitment. I am happy that so many of you are with us tonight. Thank you to the steering committee for their guidance and especially to Georg for his coaching. Thanks also for the confidence you place in me. You gave me the opportunity to organize a big conference without having seen me before. When I came to the Armentières conference last year, the decision for Luxembourg 2014 had already been made. Thanks to all the delegations of all the countries for attending our conference. We are well aware of the fact that the financial situation is very difficult for some of you who don't get funds from the national agency. And last but not least, don't forget our sponsors and donators. Without their help, this conference would have happened under very different circumstances. There are Banque et Caisse Générale de l'État, the Caisse d'Épargne de l'État, Banque Internationale de Luxembourg, Royal Bank of Canada, PricewaterhouseCoopers, La Lux Assurance, Banque Raiffeisen, Banque de Luxembourg, and Source Rosebud. And of course, our national agency, Lmrl, which is of course more than a sponsor. Thank you. And I give now over to Stephen, President of the Steering Committee.
Thank you. My friends and family will tell you that I'm one of the least emotional people in the whole world. Quite sadly in some ways. Tonight I feel rather more emotional. This is the last Europroject conference I shall be at, and that does stir up quite a lot within me. I don't normally make notes, but forgive me, I've made a few tonight. Can I just echo those thanks to all the conference organisers, to Jean-Paul, to Sandra, and their whole team. You've already offered them thanks. You forgot, or you omitted one person. Jean-Claude, that's yourself. No conference like this ever works well without the full support of the head teacher. Thank you very much, too. My thanks also to all the teacher and student participants. And particularly, it was great this time to have our friends from India here too. Thank you so much for taking part with us. In fact, to everyone who's made it such a success, from the fabulous opening ceremony to tonight's great event, thank you so much for all you've done. But I would, if I may, just offer 2 slight words of criticism that you might address in the future. Could you try a little harder next time, do you think, to control the traffic in Luxembourg City a little? And perhaps do something about the rain? Otherwise, I can barely find a criticism. Thank you so much. If this was a religious ceremony, and at times it's been moving enough almost to be one, we could end with a blessing. I don't propose to do that. But more traditionally, we'd end with good wishes. Can I come towards a close with something rather different? Can I offer you 2 curses instead? Isn't that a dreadful thing to say? Jimmy, our principal from Denmark, reminded me of the old Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. We do, don't we? For the teachers and head teachers present, the Euro project faces huge challenges, very interesting times. I am hugely encouraged that over the last few days, I think we found some ways forward to preserve and even strengthen this fantastic network. To our students, may you live in interesting times too, not as a curse, but very much more as a blessing. You're coming to voting age in a time when right across Europe, nationalist sentiment and nationalist parties are rising to prominence. An interesting time. You can make a difference. It's a challenge for you and the next generation. Please, please fight against those offering negative and simplistic arguments. Which brings me on to my next curse, much more seriously meant. To all those politicians and others offering such simplistic and negative ideas, it's a lovely old Yiddish curse. I love this one. May all your teeth fall out. Except one, so you can still get toothache. Just a word, if I may, to the teachers and parents who are present. Do you remember the words from earlier this evening? We shape our common future. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'll agree with me that with young people like this, our future as a continent is in very good hands indeed. Thank you for being such a terrific group. And if that came from our Young Poets Society, you might just forgive me for being part of the Old Poets Society for a moment. There is a Welsh poet called Dylan Thomas, who probably drank more than he wrote, but nonetheless said some wonderful things. When writing about death, he said something of this sort. I may not get it quite right. About death, he said, do not go gently into that dark night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Young people, can I urge you to fight and rage against those who would divide nations rather than bring them together. In closing, I will never forget the Euro project, its values, its enormous value, and the friendship. And finally, with the theme tonight, I'm about to become a migrant myself, as many of you know. A purely voluntary migrant, but a migrant nonetheless. Can I just assure you from me that though I may be moving to the very opposite side of the world, to New Zealand, you will always have a friend in that country, Aotearoa, as the New Zealanders or Maoris call it. So I will be thinking of you long and hard from the land of the long white cloud. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for all the good work everyone here is doing. Thank you again to the team, and good evening.